The pressure of a championship race is like no other. There are 2 races left in the Fuel Rigshare Series finals, and one of them is about to begin. 5 drivers remain in title contention, and after 140 laps of racing tonight, we'll eliminate 1, creating our championship 4. The sun is setting in Madison, Illinois, perfectly representing the inaugural Fuel season coming to a close. Drivers will fight changing conditions as the sun dips below the horizon, all while trying to beat each other to win at Gateway Motorsports Park, a 1¼ mile oval. Greg Evans has had a stranglehold on the points since the season opener. Can he hang on for 2 more rounds? Fitting he's won 7 of the 15 races this season, and man, he is hard to beat.
Yeah, it really is. It's shown he's been the cream of the crop this season. 7 wins to his name. The next highest guy is Rick Thompson with 2. So that just shows how dominant that guy has been.
The sun is setting here at Gateway Motorsports Park. I would say it's day to night. It's more like evening to night here this evening, but obviously the changing conditions are going to be a big deal for these drivers tonight. Let's take a look at our track temperature right now. Very cool already here in Madison, Illinois. 77 in the air, and it just ticked over 77 degrees on the track. That's only going to get cooler as we go on through the night, Finian. So the grip levels are going to rise up. And if we take a look at our point standings, it's getting awful close here, Finian, up front. But obviously next week, none of that matters. What does matter, though, is tonight. Take a look at those purple drivers lit up there. Those are your Fuel Rigshare Finals contestants. And there's one driver that is the only one that's put in a lap so far. That's Travis McQuistion. He's 20 points out of this, Finian. There's only 20 cars entered in tonight's race, so he needs a little bit of a miracle and a bunch of halfway points to make this happen to stay inside.
Yeah, he's still got a pretty decent mathematical shot of getting into the final round. It's going to be a bit of a long shot though for him. He's got like we're talking about, halfway points are up at stake here, so 10 points for first, down to 1 point for 10th. So he can get points there and has to hope that Perry doesn't get any points or less points than him. And then, of course, has to try to finish ahead of Perry and get as many bonus points along the way there.
And looking at the points, Greg Evans is out up front. Rhett McBride in second. He is 20 points back. It's going to be a tough go for him to try to steal that lead away from Evans, but it doesn't really matter. McBride's pretty much safe. Cohan and Perry are in pretty good spots as well. McQuistion, though, 20 points out behind Gabriel Perry. He's going to need a little bit of a miracle. And one thing I mentioned before, Finian, is Gabriel Perry has as many top 10s as Greg Evans this year, which is a really, really astonishing accomplishment. 11 top 10s in 15 races for that number 13 car.
Yeah, it's really the stat dividing is the fact that Evans has 11 top 5s compared to Perry's 3 top 5s. That really shows the big... Sorry, not 3 top 5s. Oh, yes, 3 top 5s. Yeah. Yeah, so that's really the big gap in the difference in points between them.
Riding on board now with points leader Greg Evans. He's coming into here with a ton of confidence. Has won almost half of the races this year. This guy is mad good. As he comes across the line, goes straight to the top of the board with a 31.628, a 10th over the 28 car of Timothy Johnson, who was eliminated from Fuel Rigshare Finals contention a couple of weeks ago. We missed Atlanta last week because of the iRacing build issues, but we're back again and ready to stream the penultimate race here tonight. So next week we head to Las Vegas Motor Speedway to determine our champion, but only 4 drivers can make it, and we're going to have to eliminate 1, and McQuistion's going to have a lot of work to do tonight if he wants to be that guy that doesn't go home.
Yeah, again, all the signs are pointing towards him going home, and he's got to do his best to try to change that.
From high above Gateway Motorsports Park here, as we mentioned, a 1.25-mile oval. Otherwise, conditions pretty cool and calm here tonight, Finian. No chance of rain, 2 miles an hour of wind out of the north, and obviously a 4-turn racetrack. Obviously tighter at one and the other, very similar to Darlington, just without the banking and the drama.
And yeah, so we got about 20 cars here on the grid tonight. And a relatively small grid.
Reflections on that car look so awesome.
Yeah, it does look really good.
Well, Gabriel Perry now coming out on track. He's one of the Fuel Rigshare Finals drivers that has not completed a qualifying lap yet. He'll start his effort right now.
And again, all eyes are really, especially McQuistion's eyes, to see where Perry qualifies at. Well, looking at practice, the top 4 in points were all in the top 4 on the board. So Perry was a few positions behind. So now again, we gotta watch now and see where Perry goes. This should be his main lap. Actually gets a little bit
loose on entry there. And notice how the drivers are downshifting here, Finney. And this is going to favor the guys that maybe are a little bit better at road courses here this week. A little bit more braking and more shifting than you normally see. He's going to back off that, Finney. Let's see. It puts him up to P2. A great lap for that number 13 car, making McQuistion's job even harder.
Yeah, now we're waiting on, I believe...
Nick Cohan is another guy that hasn't made a lap yet.
And he's going to come off the stripe. He's going to start his lap.
Well, here's something I want to make note of here, Finney. Gateway Motorsports Park is a very unique track, not only because of its shape, but we head onto the back straightaway here. The wall kind of falls away from the racetrack. You'll see it coming up here on the right up here. There's a hole in the wall where it gives access to other vehicles, safety vehicles. The problem with that is the visibility behind another driver. You can often lose sight of where that wall is. You can come out a little bit too far to the right, you can smack your right side on that wall.
I'm amazed they honestly even had whoever designed that and left that in the track.
Well, it's a more gentle angle from up above than it looks like on the racetrack, but certainly it doesn't hurt, or it doesn't help when you hit that wall. You see Nick Cohan jumps to the top of the board, Finney. He's on provisional pole.
Yeah, McBride's also on a lap, so we'll see now where he is. He's on the back straightaway now.
See, getting quite dark out here at the moment. We take a look. The sun is behind the horizon here, and we're just waiting for those lights to pop on, so... Obviously, getting pretty dark here. The visibility is not very good at the moment, and we're just waiting for those lights to pop on, give us some more illumination around here. McBride finishes up his lap. We'll see what this does for the number 5 car. Looks like it will put him in 4th place for the number 5. A good, solid qualifying effort. Just the slowest of everyone in the finals besides that number 93, McQuistion. And I want to say something about Cohan here. Has not won a race yet this season. Probably should have won about 5. So I think it's about time that he goes out there and wins one. He's in a pretty good spot starting on pole, but he's got a little bit of work to do if he wants to hold off Greg Evans. Yeah,
he's going to try his best to do so from there. Again, great starting position for him to get the job done from, so we'll keep an eye on what he's able to do. Looks like we had some late entries join, so field size now up to 22 entries.
All right, and I believe John Wilco was one of the drivers that came in a little bit late, so you can see already from above the glinting sun that was glinting off the turn 1 and 2 side of the racetrack is now gone. So as we take a look at there's the Gateway Arch out there in St. Louis, and it's a pretty beautiful sight to see looking over the grandstands.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see the lights in the city come on also later on as the night goes and the sun fades and the darkness arrives as the race goes on.
The top of the scoring pylon shows the 20 win of Nick Cohan. He will be your pole sitter for the penultimate race in the Rigshare Fuel Cup Series finals. And again, next week we go to Las Vegas Motor Speedway to determine a champion. Best driver who finishes in front of the other 3 will win it, just like NASCAR. And Cohan has had a great season and is in good standing to move on to that race. He's starting in a very strong spot here tonight. I know he wants to get a win. He's been successful in winning a couple races over on the IndyCar side of things, but has not yet won a Cup Series race, and I know he wants to badly. Qualifying complete here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Cohan and Evans on the front row. There's a surprise. And we'll get them gridded up and ready to go racing here in just a moment.
Yeah, those are one of the strongest drivers of the season. You see the time tick over, and now it's officially lights are on. And it's race time here.
Lights have come on. The temperature continues to fall. The field is gridding up and ready to go racing for 140 laps of action here at Gateway Motorsports Park.
Did you just get a pop-up as well?
No, I was just I was curious about why you were looking at Discord. And,
no, yeah, I just got a notification.
Well, because Zach was probably looking for the stream because it was a couple minutes late because of the session changeover. It's starting 5 minutes later than normal.
Yeah,
so I think people were looking for it. But we're here now.
No, because I got a notification about the server changing, which was sent out an hour ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know why my phone just got it now.
Well, now you got it.
I was confused.
All right. Well, if you're just joining us here, please take the time to answer that poll in the live chat. We're still looking to see if there's interest in SimTV merchandise. And we've hit the number we need for t-shirts, just not for hoodies yet. So if you want a SimTV hoodie, go over there, vote for it, and we'll produce those in a couple weeks. All right. Field is gridding up and ready to go. And let's take a quick look at our starting lineup for the race here tonight. Ace Car Lights just came on.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Nick Cohan and Greg Evans on the front row. Cohan in the number 21 Toyota Camry. Greg Evans in the number 2 Chevrolet Camaro. He'll be starting on the outside of row number 1.
And there you see in third, Gabriel Perry is going to be starting there. Outside of him is going to be Rick McBride in fourth in that 5 car. Again, top 4 all fuel playoff drivers.
In fifth, Timothy Johnson in the number 28 Toyota Camry. Thomas George in the number 9 Chevy Camaro. He'll be starting on the outside of row number 3.
And then we have Ethan Kurtz in the 20, going to be starting in 7th, outside of him in 8th. Good qualifying effort from the Ford Fusion of Will Roberts in the 96.
For that number 96 car, as you mentioned. 9th and 10th, Andrew Cardinale and Travis McQuistion in Ford Fusion for Cardinale. And at the number 93, Toyota Camry for McQuistion. McQuistion's trying to get himself into next week's championship race.
Rick Thompson going to be starting in the 76 in 11th, in a Ford Fusion behind, and on the outside of him will be Norman Pelletier in the 56 Toyota Camry.
Brad Collins in the number 67, starting alongside Tyler Dolger in the number 88. He'll be starting 13th and 14th in the Ford Fusion and Toyota Camry, respectively.
Then we're going back. We have John Martin in the 12 and 15th outside of him, and 16th, Evan Adams in the 59.
Adams trying to, hopefully his computer will last through this race. Head on back to 17th, Scott Eckridge. We got a couple stragglers not showing up here, but Scott Eckridge in a Chevrolet Camaro in the number 70.
Yeah, notably also in 18th, we have Justin Rodden. Actually, he's not on the track.
Didn't start here. Calvin Filarski starting in the 20th spot in at number 39. John Wilco in 21st in the 62. Let's head back up front here, Finian. 140 laps of racing set to go here at Gateway Motorsports Park. Nick Cohan looking for his first one of the season. The number 2 of Greg Evans looking for his 8th. We have 2 rounds left in the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series Finals, and the second to last round begins now. Green flag in the air.
And we're underway, and there you see Colin got a fantastic start over Evans as they head off into 1.
Field fanning out behind him, looking for spots. Already some action for third. There's Will Roberts side by side with the 20 of Ethan Kurtz. That'll eventually be for 7th place as they rocket down the back straight.
Yeah, everyone else up front already single file and getting going. There you see Kurtz just hiking ahead of Will Roberts. I think he might secure that position. Roberts way up high out of line.
So far, so good. Behind him, Andrew Cardinale. Norman Pelletier trying to hang on to 11th with Rick Thompson in front of him. They're bumper to bumper out of turn 4 and in front. You see, that's the number 93, McQuistion, looking for a pass on Will Roberts to take 8th place away. He needs to go, and I think he knows that now.
He wants to make sure that he gets up there as soon as possible. Can't waste any time. Up into 9th. Almost gets into Will Roberts there.
Yeah, I think he can afford to be aggressive here, Finney. He's got nothing to lose and everything to gain by being aggressive tonight. All the drivers in purple on the ticker, those are your Fuel Rigshare Finals Cup Series drivers. And McQuistion is on the outside looking in right now.
And going back up to the front of the field, Cohen's got a solid 7/10 of a second lead over Greg Evans.
Greg Evans and Gabriel Perry following 2nd and 3rd. Rhett McBride in 4th. Currently 2nd in the point standings. He's looking pretty aggressive on the back of that 13. I expect him to move up as the night goes on.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on him as well. But again, top 4 and in the points, all in the top 4 here on track. So definitely seeing the cream of the crop in points rising to the top here. You see Rhett McBride looking to the inside of Gabriel Perry trying to get a fender in there.
He's got a fender alongside. Can he take the spot down the straightaway? They're going to try. Shifting here at Gateway Motorsports Park, trying to get that torque down to the ground. You see McBride take that spot away. Perry will give it to him. Ooh, 13 car goes way up the racetrack. Here comes Thomas George in the 9 trying to take advantage of him as well.
Really, Perry just needs to make sure that he finishes this race. He really doesn't have to do anything as long as he just stays in the top 10, and I think he should be good at doing that.
McQuistion trying to get to the inside of Cardinale. Cardinale trying to go around the outside. McQuistion chops the nose of the 22. Is there some damage?
Yeah, there is. A little bit of dent to the nose of the 22. Not sure Cardinale's going to be happy with that.
I don't think he will, and McQuistion obviously being very aggressive out of the gate. Like we said, he has to do this, but there's pretty significant damage on the nose of that Mike's Hard Lemonade number 22 car.
Yeah, And Christian's gonna drive away from the 22 of Cardinale. He's gonna set his sights to the 20 of Ethan Kurtz up ahead. Cardinale already up 2 spots from his starting position. There you see Pelletier on the inside of Roberts, who's dropped back from the start.
Yeah, Roberts has dropped back already 3 spots from his 8th place starting position, so not looking good for the 96. Back up here, Timothy Johnson under attack from Ethan Kurtz, who's moving forward in that number 20. Thought he was moving forward. Started 7th, running 7th, looking for 6th now on the inside of the 28.
Yeah, has not lost lead.
Oh, contact between the two.
Kurtz dove in there very deep, and Johnson got a really bad end of that. Got some decent amount. Not decent, he got a lot of damage to the left front.
Hopefully that car's still steering straight, but obviously a little bit of contact between those two drivers. Pelletier in the 56, looking strong on the rear bumper of the 96 of Roberts, but Scott Eckrich is coming up. We've only seen him run a partial season with the races that he has run at Watkins Glen, and I believe at, was it Road America?
Yes.
He won both those races, I believe. Or I think Evans, no, he did win Watkins Glen, I think. So Eckrich is really, really fast, and he's looking hungry right now on the rear bumper of the 56 car.
He started, I think, 20th or 21st.
17th.
Or 17th.
Yep.
Yeah, so moving up some positions, moving up faster, trying to work behind Pelletier now, trying to get around Will Roberts.
Battle for 11th in front of them. Pelletier slips up mid-corner there, Finian, and just up the road we saw a pass going on that put Gabriel Perry back to 5th place and moves the number 9 of Thomas George up to 4th. It's that 9 car on a tear already so far tonight.
Yeah, I think Perry knows that, again, doesn't have to force the issue here, as long as he makes sure in a decent position, he moves on to the next round. So really he's just going to let a lot of these guys pass and just try to settle in here in a good running position, but still doing well in 5th.
Johnson's under pressure from McQuistion. That 93 has been trying to move forward, but just hasn't been able to do so far. I worry just a little bit about his progress as the guys he's fighting in the championship are running 1, 2, 3, and 5 at the moment.
Well, has moved up 2 spots already, trying to make that 3 as he's going to try to fight now with Kurtz and Johnson. As you see Kurtz get ahead. Oh, and Johnson giving him maybe a little bit of tap there?
Yeah, I don't know if these two are super happy with each other here, Finney. And obviously, you see the damage flapping on the left front suspension there. That doesn't look too good for the 28 car.
No, it is not. So there's Johnson and back around Kurtz, and he's going to try to move himself up. And I got to wonder, too, how much damage that Johnson has.
Well, I wonder also how hard he's driving. I want to just ride on board the right front suspension of this number 28 here for a minute. I saw his brakes glowing in the last corner. Let's see how hard they're working in the next section of the racetrack.
This is going to be the deepest one heading into turn 1.
Wow.
There you see the brakes flying.
Yeah, we're on lap 10 here, Finney, and it's really early for those brakes to be glowing like that.
Let's see if we can actually get a little comparison from someone else in the field.
Let's head up to Nick Cohan. This will be a pretty good indicator. Not quite as hot. Let's ride with him to the other end of the racetrack. We'll jump on the nose for a moment, and then we'll head back to the right front for the corner.
Yeah, Cohen doing well. 1.3 second lead now over Greg Evans, who's doing a fantastic job so far. Back to the brakes we look at.
Pretty hot here, too. Yeah. So these cars are working hard. Obviously, the braking performance is going to degrade as the night goes on here, Finney, and that could be important on a late race restart. We're 11 laps in here so far out of 120. I thought it was a 140 lap race. 120? I could have sworn it was 140.
I told you it was 120.
I think I heard 40. I think I said 40 at the beginning of the race. Okay, we're wrong, but 20 laps shorter than I thought. Ooh, here's a battle for 7th place. Ethan Kurtz is backed right up to McQuistion.
You can almost see the desperation in his eyes trying to chase up towards these guys. Trying to fight again, trying to take away 7th place from Ethan Kurtz and move himself up. But again, really he's got to pass up 13 to Perry. That's going to be the key position.
The downshift by the 20 of Kurtz. He's been very active in downshifting that race car. They head onto the back straight. Is that Evan Adams coming back out on the racetrack? Indeed, already 3 laps down. Has come to pit road once already with some damage on that right front.
And someone else also who ended up pulling pit road is Don Runkle Jr. in the 00.
Yeah, doesn't have any damage visible on that car, but looks like he's going to retire that 00, so not a good start for the 00 of Don Runkle Jr. Nick Cohan, Greg Evans, Rhett McBride, your top 3. Everyone else is pretty spread out, but battle in front of Andrew Cardinale is forming, as well as one behind him here, so this is where the action is midfield here.
Yeah, he's got Eckrich trying to move up his positions in 10th right now, trying to take away 9th from Cardinale, and has really been on a fantastic run so far.
Loose on entry for the number 70. Drives right up to the bumper of the 22. Can't quite get there. Andrew Cardinale is focusing on the exit here You see the rookie stripes on the bumper. The 70 of Eckrich is really charging the corner, something you probably see out of a road course driver, as we've seen before. He knows how to get into the corner pretty deep.
Carnelli loose on entry.
Yeah, he was really slidey. And I know that from the setup notes here, Finian, that this setup is a little bit spicy. Whoa, we got a battle in front. Evan Adams into the crashing with the 28 of Timothy Johnson. And a huge crash on the back straight.
Yeah, that's going to be a caution. That took out a lot of drivers right there.
Timothy Johnson involved big time.
And someone else was also involved that was running.
Yes.
Was that Thompson maybe? No.
We'll get another look at it here in just a second. That was a lap down car of Evan Adams that was, ooh, that was a big hit. We mentioned that opening here. Let's take a look from up above here, Finian, and see what we can see. Oh, the 59 was coming off the wall and tags the 28. Oh, he collected Ethan Kurtz in the number 20.
Yeah, that's what I saw. And wow, Ethan did a fantastic job blocking it down.
Kind of getting on board from him here.
Yeah, so then we see Evan Adams up ahead, staying out of line.
Yeah. And gets into the wall. Ooh, see the sparks flying there. Gets into the wall, comes off the wall, and tags the 28. And the 20 almost misses this, and he gets slammed right at the last second. Does an incredible job hanging on to that car, though.
Yeah, that car should have been in the wall, but did a great job. Has some heavy right rear damage, but should be fixable, but not so much for the 28 of Johnson. Took a decent lick.
There's another angle. It's almost like the 59 didn't see the 28 coming.
Yeah, I have no clue where he was trying to head.
Another car got some damage there. I believe it was one of the Thompsons, and I'm pretty sure it was Rick Thompson. If I could just find him on the... Help me out. There we go. No, it wasn't Rick. It was trying to figure out who that other car was that got into the back. John Wilco? No. Fred Thompson? No. Collins? No. Trying to figure out who that was.
Go back in the replay and watch.
Oh, it was Calvin Filarski in the 39. No, it wasn't. Who was that?
Go back to the replay. I can't see anything. You're saying who's
I can tell what paint scheme it is. I just can't see.
Well, go back so I can see and help you.
I think we're too far back now.
Yes, you are.
It's going real good. Okay, I give up. It's not important. If we can't find them, they're not important. Oh, man. I could have sworn it was one of the Thompson guys, but...
Well, I mean, Thompson has some decent right front damage.
Oh, was it McQuistion? I think that might have been McQuistion.
But he doesn't have a scratch on his car other than the dent that was already put there.
It could have been netcode damage.
But maybe.
Either way, he got away with that one. Well, action early here at Gateway. We've come down pit lane, and we've already traded some spots up here. Thomas George has taken third away from Rhett McBride in the number 5, so moved the number 9 car up to P3. Scott Eckrich in the 70 managed to peel his way through that and is up to P6. So a couple position swaps here, but so far so good for the Fuel Finals drivers. McQuistion gained a spot and all that.
Yeah, really one guy you should keep track of is the Eckrich in that 70 that we're looking at right now. He's really, I mean, from 17th to 6th in 17 laps. I mean, that's a pretty impressive gain there. So definitely a car to look at here, especially now that he's got fresh tires to work with and up towards the front with the big boys. So we'll see what he can do as the night goes on.
So Cohan and Evans still out up front here, Finney. And what do you think for the restart? Would you want to take the top side or the bottom side here?
I think definitely bottom side, just considering the way the corner is. You can't really get too much of a run on the outside in turn 1. Maybe more, I would say maybe more in 3 and 4, but it's kind of hard to tell. I haven't really put that many laps here in cars, especially in stock cars too, because they don't really race here that much anymore. Don't race here at all anymore, actually, right?
Trucks
cars?
do.
Trucks do. Okay.
But that's hopefully more soon. This is a great racetrack. I'm a big fan of it because it has rumble strips.
Yeah. I mean, also just too because it's such a unique track that really should get some notoriety.
Well, look, here, Finney and Nick Cohan is elected for the outside lane for the restart.
Not the first time we've seen him do it this season.
Yeah, I think
isn't he the driver that almost always takes the outside?
I mean, I like the outside. It's a good move. See the curbing on the inside. We haven't talked a whole lot about that here, Finney, but if we ride on board with Greg Evans, those rumble strips are concrete and they're painted and they're very slippery.
Yeah.
You get that left front tire down there and they're going to send you for a slide, so the driver's trying to avoid those at all costs here tonight. Oh, seen Pelletier almost scraped the wall.
He actually did scrape the wall. I saw some sparks come off.
Cutting a little bit close there, Norman.
Alright, so with this restart, we got about 17, 16 cars left in the race, and I think about 16 or 15 of them on the lead lap. 16 on the lead lap.
Yeah, so a little bit of attrition already so far tonight, and we've seen a couple single car incidents. We've seen Evan Adams get into some lead lap cars, so obviously an issue there. I just think Evan was in the wall, was trying to get away from it, and then just didn't see that 28 slip to his inside, got caught in a blind spot. That's what caused our wreck a couple laps ago. We're going to restart lap number 19, closing in on the 20-25 lap mark here, Finney. And as we get closer to halfway at lap 60, we award points. We're going green again here at Gateway.
There you see Evans, fantastic start by him as always, and there you see Evans trying to fight McBride there on the outside. Looks like he's going to win out on that.
Ooh, McBride almost stuck a nose to the outside on corner exit as we head down the back straightaway. Ooh, big fight behind him. Norman Pelletier really aggressive on the back of Travis McQuistion. Can he do anything with them?
We'll see as they go into the corner. You see McQuistion trying to block Pelletier, and he goes to the inside of Cardinale.
Ooh, Cardinale slides the nose down to the bottom there. And remember the 93, the 12 contact, the 22 spins on corner exit. The 93's in the wall hard. And Wilco gets collected. Will Roberts gets collected.
And I know exactly how that started too. I saw Cardinale clip the rumble strips we were just talking about under caution, and his car went around.
Well, there is going to be some very angry drivers out of this one here, Finney. And the 93 and the 22 had issues prior to this as well. And I think there will be some hurt feelings, and Wilco obviously caught up in this as well. Let's go back, take a look at it. I want to look from up above here, Finney, so you can get a proper view of what happened to the 22. You see the 22 get... Did he actually get down? He did get to the curb. Yeah. He slips, and the 93 runs into the back of him here. And the 22 gets drilled by the... Ooh, Will Roberts got a big piece of that, too.
Let's ride on board with the 62 of Wilco. See what he saw on board from that.
Entered the corner up high here. He's got a bunch of cars in front of him between him and the wreck. You see there's a 96 of Roberts kind of blocking his vision. Sees the spin and just doesn't have any time to react. Nothing he could have done there. What a shame for Wilco. I want to ride maybe on the... I'll get another camera angle here of the 22. Again, just clips that rumble strip just a little bit, gets sideways, and the 93 just has no time to get out of it. And the 22 locks it down here, and because he didn't get back on the throttle and spin it away from the wall, he slid through the middle of the track and big contact.
Let's ride on board with John Martin. He got a fantastic view of that. I think a lot more than he would have liked.
See, yep, the road there. There's the spin. It's just smoke everywhere. Can't see. Wow, look at that. And then there's the 96 and the 93. And I'll ride on board also with 93 of McQuistion, because obviously that did not go the way he wanted. He is effectively eliminated from the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series Finals. Here he is.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way he could recover from that.
Yeah, and then just a massive impact straight into the concrete. And that car is going to be effectively totaled and out of this race. He needed to win, basically, to have a shot at this, and that's not going to happen tonight. Back live. No one is pit except for the 12 of Johnny Martin. So everyone else... Actually, Johnny Martin didn't even come this time. Fred Thompson has, however, in the number 46 car. He is on pit lane right now.
So yeah, he's going to come in to get some repairs. But yeah, definitely lost a lot of drivers already. We're down now to 13 that are still in the running.
Yeah, again, the restarts here are very sketchy, especially with all the shifting here, Finney. We mentioned the rumble strips being kind of a hazard. This is not an easy racetrack to drive, for sure. And also the setup here, obviously, a talking point. If we take a look at our conditions, it's actually been pretty standard. They've stayed pretty much the same since we started, so we can't attribute this to the track temperature changing too much. I think it's just the intensity rising at the second to last race of the season. This is almost races like a short track. It's not really considered a short track. It's over a mile, but with how much braking you do here, I would consider it one.
Yeah, and also with just the radius of the corners and the way they're just made, the low banking, and just really does drive like a short track. So these guys really got to start being on their toes here. But yeah, 13 drivers left in the running effectively. I would say a little bit less. Some guys have some damage in the back of the field there, so... and also big headline that 93 is effectively out of the championship at this point.
Yeah, there's not really much. There's nothing he can do at this point. He's already 2 laps down. That car is not going to be quick. And as we mentioned, he basically, and actually at this point, it's totally mathematically impossible because Gabriel Perry, the worst he can finish now is something like 17th. So I think Perry needs to finish at least 20th for the 93 to even have a remote shot. So that's not going to happen tonight. And Travis McQuistion, eliminated from the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series Finals, leaves your final four as the drivers up in purple there on the ticker. Cohan, Evans, McBride, and Perry. They'll be fighting for a championship next week at Las Vegas.
Also notably, too, Calvin Filarski in the 39 has just come back out on the track. He's 5 laps down. That car actually looks pretty good. I was kind of surprised that he pulled off earlier. I'm not sure what that was for, but...
Yeah, well, he's in good shape now. He's 5 laps down. It's a long way to go, but until he can get all those laps back, or I don't even think he will, but he's certainly going to try as the pace car is working its way down the back straightaway. Ready to go racing here again. We've had 2 cautions so far, and we're about to complete lap number 23. Sun is setting here. The lights are on. It is getting darker, and the visibility is actually improving now that the lights are warmed up here a little bit, Finney, and I think that was an issue before as well. It's pretty dark out there for these drivers.
Yeah, and I'm really starting to see the lights come down on these drivers on the cars, and they're going to come out of turn 4 now onto the straightaway. We got a little bit under 100 laps to go left in this race, and green flag is back in the air here at Gateway.
Oh, big stack up towards the middle of the field. Will Roberts jumped out of it here. A scary moment on the restart for these drivers, but up front, McBride looking to the inside of Greg Evans. Can he get the nose in there? Ooh, the 9 pushes the 70 up the racetrack.
Oh, and Evans trying to get to the inside of Cohen here on the restart, but couldn't get it done in turn 2.
Ooh.
Going to chase him down the back straightaway. Maybe try to make a move in 3 and 4. I don't think he's close enough.
Yeah, Cohen was being pretty defensive there on the straightaway. I think he knew how important that was. You see Brad Collins trying to fight off Tyler Dulger. There's a couple of guys fighting up the road just a little bit. But Greg Evans looking really racy on this restart. Whoa, the 76 loose. He hung onto it, but it was almost a disaster there.
Yeah, and actually he's going to make an opportunity out of that. He's going to go to the inside of Gabriel Perry, who's pretty much set now on points. And you see Perry out of line there. He's going to, I think, maybe let Rick Thompson by? I'm not sure about if he is.
No, I think that was a mistake there by the 13. Again, one of the things that, you see Eckrich going for a pass on the 9 at Thomas George. One of the things that we don't talk about a whole lot here because it's oval racing is the shifting in general. You have to rev match your downshifts. If you just jam that thing into gear, it's going to upset your drivetrain. You're going to get loose on corner entry. So if those drivers don't have those skills perfected, it's going to be a long night of wrestling your race car.
Yeah, we talked about too. I think definitely this is coming to Eckrich's favor. That's why we're seeing up towards the front, because that's really a road racing technique, matching your revs, and you only really do that on a road course and very select ovals like this in Pocono. So. He's starting to make a rise to the front here. You see McBride working on the outside of Evans.
And McBride's actually quicker than Evans right now, and the 70's quicker than both of them. He's coming up here to take a couple spots away. I think that 70's going to be a real hard car to beat tonight if he gets up into the front.
Yeah, the big question, though, is he has to get there first. And it looked like McBride was leaving some opportunities, and Eckrich wanted those, but McBride's still going to hold him at bay at the moment. And actually, as they say that, here comes Eckrich to the bottom.
To the inside of the 5 of McBride. I think the 5 will let him on through. Gotta pick and choose your battles here, I think.
Yeah, I think everyone knows that the 70 has a lot of speed here, and they're just moving out of his way because they know that eventually he's going to get around them. So, Perry hard into the wall, and as well as the 9 of Thomas George, but more so Perry got a decent lick.
Yeah, that's going to be enough to damage that suspension just a little bit. You see the right side kind of pancaked on the 13. He's been flirting with it the past couple laps, but that time he really got into it hard enough to hurt. Notably, the 2 car of Greg Evans has not lost Nick Cohan here, Finney. The difference between the leaders is still about 2 to 3/10 of a second. So don't count Evans out of this just yet. He's still right up here keeping pace with the 21, but the 70 car's running them both down.
And again, going to keep an eye on the 70 as he closes in, but actually here comes Evans now with a big run on Cohan. I think a little bit too far on this straight, but definitely Evans is closing in.
Ooh, the 70 drove in hard off into turn 1 here, Finney. Side by side for the lead. The 2 car to the inside of Cohan couldn't get it done, but he's quicker at the moment.
Yeah, quicker indeed, but just, made a mistake there. It's going to try to have to recover from that.
$21,270, your top 3 here at Gateway so far. We're about to complete lap number 29. The top 3's kind of closing in here. McBride and Thomas George falling back from the front 3. See, Cohan really apexing late in 1 and 2. That's opening the door for Evans to stick a nose in.
Yeah, and that's again potentially where Cohen has to be defensive. Otherwise, like you said, he's going to leave that door open. So, and really, the guy who's been taking every opportunity is the 70. We keep talking about it, but yeah, every time these guys have been trying to enter in high, he sticks his nose in there and tries to get the spot away. So this guy's got to start being defensive.
And maybe point. You're not going to make a pass on corner X sticking your nose up, but I think it makes the driver in front nervous and just getting in their head. You see the 70 just driving in super hard. It's making these guys look in their mirrors. I think that's what Evans is trying to do as well. You see the 93 McQuistion back out on the racetrack, but 10 laps down in 17th.
At this point, McQuistion is just trying to get any points he can. He's got to hope for everyone to pretty much crash out at this point for him to get a shot.
Unlikely evening for the 93. It was a tall task when he came into the race, but now pretty much impossible.
Now for Rick Thompson having a nice day in 6th. He's doing a good job. Just got ahead of Gabriel Perry. Perry's starting to struggle.
Yeah, this guy, he has 2 wins on the season here, Finian. He's won a couple times, but just has not had the consistency of everybody else, and that's where he's struggled so far this year. Evans has fallen back from Cohen a little bit and exposed himself to the 70 of Scott Eckrich. Scott's coming. Last time by was 0.2 quicker than Evans and 1/10 quicker than our leader.
Yeah, these guys are approaching the lap traffic. That is the 93 of McQuistion, so we'll see where McQuistion goes.
Ooh, Cohen's brakes already visibly hotter than the drivers around him. He gets loose on corner exit. Keep an eye on the brake rotors as he heads down off into turn 3. A little bit warm for him. They're obviously a lot hotter down in the turn 1 and 2 section. That's actually something I've noticed, Finn, is how big the difference is in the braking power between turn 1 and turn 3. You use a lot more brake on that short end of the racetrack.
Yeah, definitely trying to just slow down for the corner. Just try to get a good arc into it as well.
You see, the 2 car, not hot. The 21 is driving a lot harder than the 2 to maintain this pace.
And actually, that driving harder is actually giving him a little bit of a gap now to the 2 of Greg Evans. About 0.8 of a second, almost 1 second between these 2 guys. And there you see Eckrich still on the back bumper of the 2 of Evans.
Yeah, he's going to have a good run out of turn 4 here. He's been getting the power down and shifting a lot smoother than these other drivers. Comes up off the corner, a little bit closer to the wall, using a little bit more momentum to carry that speed down the straight. Now, for a moment, I'm going to jump back here to 8th place. The battle for 8th is heating up. Pelletier, Brad Collins, and Will Roberts all kind of fighting together here.
Roberts involved in that big crash on the back straightaway. He's been able to... He got a little piece of that, not too big of a damage, only really to the left rear. But it seems to be still going strong. You see now Evans... sorry, that's not Evans. Perry and Thompson fighting. That's Perry going around, Rick Thompson. Thompson trying to fight back on the inside.
Tried to do the over-under, couldn't quite get it done. Calvin Filarski has pulled off the racetrack. Looks like he'll be done for the night. Travis McQuistion down on pit lane. I think he might pull it in and call it night as well. Eckrich kind of getting stuck behind the 2 car here. They're both losing ground in Nick Cohen now.
Yeah, really, I think Eckrich has got to do something fancy to get around, but here you see this battle between Brad Collins and Will Roberts. This is for 9th place.
Roberts actually rebounded quite nicely. He was involved in one of those incidents earlier and didn't really get a ton of damage out of it. Went for a loop, but managed to fix that race car and keep it in contention. And here comes Collins to the inside of Norman Pelletier. Will Pelletier fight him here?
Oh, Pelletier looks like he's really off the pace from these guys. There's Collins going to the inside.
Oh, into the wall. The 67 gets turned on the back straightaway and crash. Lap 37. Caution is out.
Yeah, that gave some heavy damage to the 88 of Dolger and the 56 of Pelletier.
Yeah, we were watching that riding on board with the 67. Let's get another look. Oh, did the 56 come off the wall or did the 67 rip up into him?
It's kind of hard to tell.
We're right on board with Pelletier here, see what he saw. Close that, dude.
Yeah, Pelletier already with some decent damage to his right front.
Ooh, that, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the 56 came off about a half a lane, but the 67 also drifted up about the same amount.
I don't know. I would put that more on the 56.
Yeah. That's a tough one, though. Another angle. Yeah. From that angle shows a lot better. Obviously, the 67, you know, Didn't really intend to turn himself on the nose. He's right on board with Brad Collins now. Yep, just gets hooked and around he goes. And the 88 has nowhere to go. Piles into that mess.
And we'll head back live for pit stops are underway. And we'll see who's going to come out where.
Yeah, this is an important pit stop, I think, here, Finney, because our halfway is in 20 laps, and we get points awarded there. So Scott Eckrich is already out.
Yeah, waiting for these guys to drop their jacks. And oh, it might have been a little bit late for some of these guys.
Oh, battle to the line. It's going to be Cohan coming out in front, but it was really close there.
Yeah, they'll come out. The top three will come out as they were running.
Actually, I do want to actually get a look at that. Another angle. Here is battle for second coming out of pit lane.
That was
wow.
Really close. Alright, we can actually just take a break here. I just want to fix something.
Okay.
Real quick.
Alright. 10-4. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. If anyone noticed a camera issue that we had to get resolved. Nick Cohan dropping to the end of the line, speeding on pit road for the number 21.
That's really unfortunate for him. Yeah, we talk about how he's been trying to get a win. Has led, I think, almost every lap of the race so far.
Has led every lap of the race so far.
And now he's going to drop back to the end of the line, which which granted isn't that many positions, could be a lot worse, but still, he's got to work through all this traffic here, and we're a third of the way through the race. So,
yeah, that's a big shame for the 21 because he had this race under control. He was driving away from Greg Evans, and now he's going to have to work his way through at least 10 to 12 cars here, Finn. That's not an easy task, and obviously the points issue not a big deal for him here, but you got to eliminate your mistakes. We haven't seen a lot of pit penalties so far this year. But this is one that's going to certainly hurt the 21. And he came so close to winning at Charlotte, at USA International a couple months ago. He's been so close to winning races, but just something happens. Either gets caught up in a wreck or it gets a penalty. But obviously not a good day so far for the 21 after leading the majority of the race up to this point.
Yeah, he's got to really hope that these mistakes don't happen to him next week at Las Vegas, because that could really hurt him.
He's coming back down, maybe to just top off on fuel here.
Yeah, I think he probably figured out might as well, since he's anyway dropping to the tail end of the line.
Taking tires. Interestingly.
Guess he figured might as well, since he's coming all the way down
he
here.
must have sped coming in, because his pit stall is right there. I don't think he could speed mathematically on exit. So
yeah.
Surprised a little bit that he was speeding, but obviously not going to work out very well for the 21. As we're doubling back up, Greg Evans has been gifted the lead. Thomas George moves up to P2. Where's the 70 car? Also a penalty for the 70.
Wow, so two notable penalties here for the 70 and the 21 of Cohen. And those are two front runners taken out of this, and now it's left to the 2 of Evans, the 5 of McBride, and the 9 of Thomas George up towards the front, the top 3.
Yeah, penalties taken out. Who would have been first and third, but Thomas George moves up to second. Greg Evans assumes the lead as we come back to the restart, lap number 42. The 2 car in control. 20 laps to halfway here at Gateway. Green flag back in the air once again.
AC Evans securing the lead ahead of Thomas George. McBride did not get a good start.
No, already under attack from the 13 on the outside. Will Roberts up inside the top 5 now. And I think it's going to be interesting to watch the 21 carve his way through the field behind the 70 of Eckrich, though. So that's going to be a hard car to pass here tonight, Finian.
And Eckrich already making his way through on the inside of Brad Collins and trying to get to the inside of John Martin in 12.
Brett McBride has lost a spot to Gabriel Perry. Here's some action behind, though. Johnny Martin under attack from the 70 of Eckrich. That'll be for 7th. So the 70 car moving up pretty quick already. I think the 21's going to have to match that pace if he wants to have a shot at this lead.
see Cohen also trying to get around Johnny Martin in 12 again, so he's Martin kind of stuck in the middle between these two guys.
Well, the 21 has been the fastest car so far tonight. And we expect to see him, I believe he actually does have the fastest lap. So yeah, so Cohen is our fastest car out here. So he should be able to carve his way back through the field, but it's all a matter of when you catch traffic and how you work your way through.
Actually, I believe that just changed, as Scott Eckridge was the fastest car last time by. He's the fastest lap of the race.
31.733 for the 70 car. On the move is Scott Eckridge. He's in P7. You can see everyone in front of him he needs to pass.
Yeah, fastest by a long shot. Everyone else ran about a tenth or two slower. So really starting to make some ground. Oh, and a little bit loose off the corner. So he will collect it and keep on going. And there you see up ahead.
Oh, 13 car way up out of the group. He's been running that high lane though here. It doesn't look like it's by accident. He's been charging that corner, riding all the way up to the safer barrier, then pulling it back down.
Looks like he's going to try to make it work on McBride. Almost able to make it fast. And there you see Will Roberts running into position 2, the 70.
Eckridge back up to 6th. But they're starting closer to 10th on the restart. Evans now under pressure from the 9 of Thomas George. You see, I think it was Eckridge that scraped the wall there out of turn 4. These are two guys that have had a lot of speed so far this year.
You see George now behind Evans.
And Thomas George has not won a race yet this season, but he's been really competitive. I'm a little bit surprised by that fact, actually, because he's had the speed to win several.
Yeah, he's been, again, almost like Cohen, been really close. He's not able to get the job done at the end, but has had really fast cars.
Oh, see, someone's smoking heavily on pit lane. Is that the 88 car? It must be.
Yeah.
Battle for third, heating up here a little bit. McBride trying to get that spot back from Perry. Lost it on the restart. Then there's Rick Thompson and Scott Eckridge, Will Roberts, Nick Cohen up to 8th behind him.
Yeah, it was about the 21 and the 70 made some pretty decent recoveries, all things considered.
Still got a long way to go here, Finian. I mean, it's not going to hurt their chances to win the race, but now that the 2 cars got the lead, how do you wrestle it away on the restarts? I mean, the obvious advantage is on the restarts right when you get up to speed, and you got to battle for third now, and it's going to be harder and harder to get that lead away from Greg Evans, especially with his experience so far this year. 7 wins that number 2 car has.
Yeah, the 9 of Thomas George has got to be a little bit creative here as the race begins to morph into its second half. He's got to really come up with something to get around the 2, because he's got that 2 of Evans, again, wicked fast, 7 wins this season, so he's fighting the most competitive car here.
Eckridge to the inside of Rick Thompson out of turn number 4. He'll be alongside and have an opportunity to pass him here down into turn 1.
And there goes Eckridge to the inside. I wonder how much of a fight Thompson's going to put up.
Oh, pretty significant one there. He drifts up the racetrack, but Eckridge's going to get back on the power early. They're going to drift up side by side on the back straightaway. I think Thompson is going to have to give this one up here sooner or later, as that 70 is just going to be better on braking.
And there goes Eckridge. Ooh, Thompson's still there, though. But I don't think, and there he goes. So
Water bumper clear.
Yeah. Eckridge is now up into 5th place, so again, I can't say enough. Nice solid recovery for the 70. Here we see 21 of Cohen trying to get around Will Roberts.
Goes up the racetrack. I like that move here, Finney, and try a different lane to get around the guy, then they can pull it down on exit. Ooh, a little bit loose off the corner.
Yeah, it's a tough line to pull because of what you just saw on the screen there. You just get loose off the corner, so tough line to run. But Cohen's going to try
Roberts
anyway.
moves way out of the way for Cohen. He'll let him on by. I'm sure that favor will come around next week. Ooh, 21 car. He get in the wall?
Yeah.
Light scrape for the 21 out of turn 4. We've seen a lot of that tonight. Harry and McBride side by side. McBride trying to take that spot back away after getting passed on the restart 10 laps ago. A little bit of nose damage to that 13 car as well.
I'm actually wondering, does McBride potentially have? No.
No, looks like he's pretty clean. Very slight damage to that 13 car, so I don't think it was anything significant. Maybe just a stack up on a restart.
Potentially, yeah.
Greg Evans out to a 7/10 of a second lead over Thomas George, Gabriel Perry, Rhett McBride, Scott Eckridge, your top 5. And it's Rick Thompson, Nick Cohan, who needs to pick up the pace a little bit if he wants to go up there and challenge the guys he was fighting before. Especially if this goes green to the end, that's going to be real hard to make up those spots.
Yeah, and if that does happen, he's going to be kicking himself from that mistake he made under caution, because that really cost him. They're going from first all the way back to around 11th, 12th. He's now worked his way up to 7th.
McBride trying again on Perry. Wasn't able to complete this pass the last time. I think McBride's quicker. But the way this racetrack is laid out, it makes it pretty tricky to make a pass here. You can't just go down to the inside or go to the outside. There's no real defined best lane here.
Yeah.
You can get real creative with the lines you take, and I think I like that about this place.
Yeah, you really can. You can enter in high, exit low, enter low, exit high. There's many different combinations. And yeah, like you're saying, no fixed lines here. You see Cohen now working on the outside. He's going to try to cut it back down low and get a run on Thompson on the straightaway. But here we got a battle now between the 5, the 13, and the 70 here.
Eckridge is looking, he's licking his chops. He wants both these spots.
He might be able to get it here. Perry's way out of line. Although he goes to the inside.
Oh, he's gonna get both here. Does he go 3 wide? Nope, he'll stay off of it.
So Eckridge being patient here.
He can afford to be patient. He knows he's quicker than these guys. It's just a matter of time. But a little bit surprised he didn't go for it. I mean, he had a really good run. He probably could have cleared them both by turn 3, but wants to stay out of everyone's hair for now. Thompson has managed to hang on to 6th. Thompson's been real hard to pass today.
Yeah, I would say he's putting up a good fight on that outside line compared to other drivers.
Turn number 2, working lap 55 here at Gateway. Halfway in 5 laps. Eckridge to the inside of McBride off into turn number 3. And it's a pretty hard line to hold down there to make that pass, but he's certainly going to give it a try.
Yeah, the corners here are really weird. You can't. It's kind of hard to stay in the same lane.
And Nick Cohan has gotten around Rick Thompson, so that'll put the number 21 to P6. He's got about 15 car lengths to make up on the battle in front of him, though.
So you see Eckridge, he goes up about a lane in the mid-corner, then cuts back down low. He's going to try to get it on McBride here, and should be able to do it in 3 and 4.
Clears the 5 car. He'll pull up in front of him, heading off into turn number 3. So Scott Eckridge back up to 4th. Now he's only 1 spot down from where he was after the penalty under the caution sequence. So a good recovery for the 70, but Greg Evans is checked out.
Yeah, and again, Thomas George is going to have to do a lot to try to catch him, as well as Eckridge trying to catch him as well. So Eckridge really could try to maybe do something strategy-wise on tires. These guys have to make at least 1 more pit stop.
And maybe an undercut, a potential opportunity here. We've only been going for about 15 to almost 20 laps since the restart, and we're already about 2 seconds off the pace from where we were at the beginning of the run. So the tire fall off here is significant enough that an undercut could work for someone like Nick Cohan, but he's 4 seconds back from the leader, so he'd need to snooker Evans by nearly 2 laps.
Yeah.
As we've seen the last couple nights, Hardline was one of those races, and I believe VRL had a situation like that too, where the undercut sometimes gets defeated by the overcut, depending on how much race you have left. So Eckridge moving in on the number 13 for 3rd now, and he is running faster than our leader, that 70 car is. So Eckridge on the move. Right on board the gyro cam here.
You see actually decent damage to the 70's right front, a lot more than I saw before. Had a little dent earlier, so I think he's really starting to flirt with the wall a lot, and that's giving him some damage.
I will say, listening to his braking, Vinny, he almost was wheel hopping into the corner, so he's threshold braking. He's right on the limit of what you can brake in these race cars, so he's certainly getting more out of the braking system than everyone else. You see the 9 car way up the racetrack in turn 4.
Yeah, that's out of line completely, so George really starting to fall off the pace here, and that's allowed the 13 and 70 to catch him, and here comes the 70 of Eckridge to the inside of Perry. He looks, and he's going to try to make the move here.
And not this time, but the last time, Nick Cohan was also quicker than our leader, so though the 70 and the 21 trying to recover from their spots. Ooh, the 70 gets loose off the corner, pulls back across the nose of the 13. The 13 crosses him over. He'll drive off into turn 3. Oh, no, he'll stay behind and let him go.
Yeah, judging by Perry's line, it looks like he might have let Eckridge have it there. And here he comes now.
Now he's going for 2nd. This guy's on the move, Finian. He's charging hard.
Yeah, George is really falling off the pace here compared to what he was doing earlier. This is all falling into the 70 of Eckridge's hands. The way this is played out. Again, ideally, he would have been in a lot better spot had he not gotten a penalty.
Could have been leading this race if he didn't get a penalty. To the inside of the 9, off into turn 3. We'll see if George just gives it to him. Ooh, drives in pretty deep. Runs alongside. Not going to give it up so easy.
Yeah, indeed. But I think George is really lacking that mid-corner speed with his tires worn as they are. Eckridge able to put a lot more power down.
9-car into the wall out of turn 4. We got 2 battles, one for second, one for third, or fourth, excuse me.
There goes Eckridge, and George is not even going to bother fighting for it. He knows it's a losing battle, but moving back to the battle for fourth here between McBride and Perry. And it looks like McBride's going to get it.
Yeah, McBride took it, but that has brought the 21 and Nick Cohan back into the fight. So the 21's going to get a chance to rebound here past halfway, Finian. And your halfway points have been awarded. Greg Evans going to be awarded with 10 bonus points for winning that halfway stage segment.
Yeah, it's a solid bump to his efforts. Again, I don't think it's going to matter. It shouldn't matter.
No, he's mathematically going to walk into Las Vegas as the top seed regardless now. So Evans and Eckridge looking pretty good there, although Eckridge is not really in the points battle as he's only been a part-time driver. Battle for third still on here, though, as Eckridge has gotten passed back by the 9-car. Oh, we got one off. Was it Eckridge?
No, it might have been Fred Thompson. No?
No, Fred Thompson. Someone just went flying off the course. Wasn't Pelletier. I thought it was a blue car here, but let's get a quick look, though. I want to see who that was. Oh, it was the 21 of Cohan.
Oh, it was Cohan. Oh, he was able to save it, that's why. Okay.
Let's quickly take a look at the replay. We don't want to miss too much because there's a lot of action going on. This is out of turn number 2. Gets really loose, flies down to the apron, collects it. The safety car also got loose, so these guys really working their tires hard.
Yeah, they both lost a lot of positions there, especially Eckridge. He was, again, in second and then fell back all the way now back to 5th.
And Rhett McBride has caught Thomas George. He's going to go for the second spot now. The battle for second is really a 4-car fight.
Yeah, and almost 5 cars, really, if you want to.
Yeah, 5-car fight if you include Cohan. Yeah, you're right.
And while these guys, all these guys have been fighting, Greg Evans has checked out 3, almost 4-second lead over the rest of the field.
Well, Thomas George let Rhett McBride by, and that is kind of scrambled up everybody behind him. Eckridge to the inside of the 13 of Perry.
Oh, and
5-car in the wall,
yeah. That's going to hold these guys up even more. There you see the 9 holding up Perry, so that's going to allow Eckridge to get a good run on the bottom.
And Nick Cohan back in the fight here, Finian. I think they're going to need a caution to catch the 2-car of Greg Evans at the rate they're wearing their tires out, but certainly a great battle for second. McBride has it. Eckridge moving over and letting the 21 by. Interesting move there. Maybe letting Cohan work over his equipment a little bit more.
Probably. I think he's going to try to let Cohan pick through these guys, and he's just going to try to follow on through.
I like the strategy by the 70. Off into turn 3 now. The 21 to the inside of the 13. This will be for 4th. You see Greg Evans all the way down the front straightaway. He's gone 4.5 seconds up the road. A little smoky down there on pit lane for Norman Pelletier. That looks like that'll be night over. He's coming in for pit stop regardless. Greg Evans, there's the lead that he has. Let's get a view from up above. Brett McBride all the way down at the other end of the straightaway. And now Perry and Eckridge are side by side. Cohan is past the 13, is now working over the 9 at Thomas George.
And Eckridge trying to make the passing opportunity there. Wasn't completely on the inside of the 13. He's going to try to make the pass work nonetheless off of 4.
It's a pretty good run out there. He's going to have to beat him down to turn 1, though, and we know this is a tricky corner to pass in. This is the tighter end of the racetrack. But Perry will hang on. Now the battle for third heating up as Cohan has caught Thomas George. George up the racetrack out of turn 2. The 21 alongside.
Yeah, and it looks like George is going to back out of that potential battle. Going to let Cohan have it. That puts Cohan up into 3rd place. Now going to have to chase down Rick McBride, who's able to get a little bit of a gap.
Well, talk about a little bit of a gap. Greg Evans has a massive gap. There is your leader, Greg Evans. And here is your second place car, Rhett McBride. That is 4.6 seconds. McBride was quicker than Evans by a 10th last time through. But now that the 70 car has let the 21 by, Cohan has driven away a little bit here, has separated himself by 2 cars. So it looked like that strategy kind of backfired on Eckridge just a little bit. Very smoky on the front straight.
Yeah, I'm not sure who has their smoke machine out.
I think I could tell you. Calvin Filarski.
Fog has rolled in here. Smells of oil.
Thomas George way up the racetrack, lost his spot there.
Yeah.
Ooh, Eckridge back to 8th. Oh! In pit lane, interestingly. Pit stop time?
I guess.
Or did he get in the wall?
Yeah, I think he might have got on the wall and this might have been reactionary to that. We'll rewind. Go back to turn
Oh, this might have been a voluntary pit stop here, if anyone. He already had that damage.
Yeah, interesting.
We're 30 laps into the run. You can probably... Oh, you can make it from here. That's why he came to pit road. He's trying to pull the undercut. So the 70 with a scheduled pit stop trying to get ahead of the guys he was fighting with. Interesting strategy here. 5 seconds between first and second. Cohan closing in for that P2 spot now.
That's a smart move, although Eckridge has got to definitely manage his tires from here on out. Definitely, if I would say, if anyone could do it, it would probably be him. So,
well, I will also say, though, he's been making speed in a pretty aggressive driving factor here, Finney. He's been jamming on those brakes, locking them up. He's been driving in the corners real hard. He's been abusing his equipment all race. Do you think he has the ability to step it back down a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely think he can. I think the reason he's pushing that hard is because he can. So I think if he can back it down a little bit, he should be able to maintain a decent pace to at least overlap these guys when they come in for their pit stops.
So Eckridge trying to make speed on an undercut. We're 33 laps into the stint. And there you can see Tyler Dolger. Oh, well, he's been off the racetrack for 29 laps, but he's only got 1 lap on his tires, conveniently. That lead has been slowly shrinking between Evans and McBride.
Yeah, they ran almost identical lap times last time by, only separated by 0.02 of a second.
Yeah, Cohan was the quickest of the 3, though. So if you're Nick Cohan, I'd stay out on the track here a little bit. I mean, you're running him down. I wouldn't want to put that in jeopardy. Get yourself on an inferior tire strategy. I think
just as you say that, Cohan comes in.
Oh, okay. Well, here he comes. Proves me wrong.
I think this might be a little bit reactionary to the
Eckridge, yeah, 70. A battle here between the 76 and 96. That'll be for the top 5 spot right now as Cohan pits. So where is the 70? Working his way through turn 2 right now.
And he's behind the 9, but again, not for position. 9's a lap ahead of Eckridge.
And Greg Evans can afford to stay out a little bit longer here. He can probably stay out 3 laps past Nick Cohan and have some more tires for the end of the race. Oh, here comes the 70, Finian. He's going to be in front of the 21.
Yeah, this is just seeing about a 2-lap difference, I think, on their tires.
4-lap difference, actually. So will that work out for Cohan, or will it work out for Eckridge, or for Greg Evans? We're going to see. I do worry about the 70 a little bit, though, because Greg Evans is going to have at least 6 or 7 lap fresher tires. That's a significant difference. You see him come down. Thought he was going to come to pit road. They're the 13 of Gabriel Perry has... How did Perry get up here? Oh, that was for the 70. I thought that was.
Yeah.
I thought we were looking at Greg Evans. I was like, how did he get up to the leader? Impressive. McBride on pit road. He is in and out, coming out. And where is the 21 car? Already in front of him. So Nick Cohan has leapfrogged the guy he was fighting before. Question is it going to be enough to... it's probably going to be enough to even beat Greg Evans at this point.
Yeah, with the lap time these guys are putting down, definitely I think they should be able to get ahead of the leaders, considering... Evans is going to be out for almost 6 laps now. There you see Will Roberts pulling into his stall.
Brad Collins, and that's the 56 Norman Pelletier. Pelletier's out there 1 lap down. Will Roberts still in pit lane getting service. Greg Evans, 8.5 second lead over Gabriel Perry, but he's got to keep an eye on that 21 car here, Finian.
Yeah, he has to make sure he at least manages the gap between them. Otherwise, he can fall prey to it.
And we have yet to see a green flag pit stop sequence here, so I'm not really sure how quickly you can chase somebody down if you have a couple lap fresher tires on overcut. So I know it's going to work for Cohan. I'm curious to see if Greg Evans is going to be able to run Cohan back down once Cohan gets by. Right now, the top 5 have stayed on the racetrack for now. Here comes the 2 car to pit lane.
And there's Evans behind. Sorry, not Evans,
Perry?
No, not Perry, the 70 of Eckridge. That's what I meant to say. So he's going to come around that.
Unlap himself. And so he is in front of Cohan here. So we have several different tire strategies, at least 3 that I can count that we're working on right now. So here comes Evans down to pit lane. Got a long ride down, and this is where you don't want to get yourself a speeding penalty.
No, this will definitely hurt you a lot more than what happened to the 21 and the 70. I've been slowly approaching the stall, so we'll keep an eye on this camera because we can see the straightaway. Should be able to see the straightaway. Yeah, somewhat. So we'll see now on the top of the screen, we'll see where the 70 and the 21 pop out of view as they round about to the front straightaway. And
there's the 70 and the 21.
And you can see that Evans
only
is
left sides, yeah.
just getting up his left side. So 70 of Eckridge is going to get a big lead here on Evans.
And the 21 of Cohan's going to get around him as well, but not going to be as far up the road as maybe he would like to keep that 2 car behind him, but he's going to have the track position now. If a caution comes out, they're in good spot now.
Yeah, I think that might be what they might try to bank on here.
Well, here's an interesting thing here, Finian. Last time by, Cohan ran 7/10 faster than Scott Eckridge.
Yeah.
So he's been really running him down. All right, we got 3 different tire strategies. He's going to be 4 now that Gabriel Perry's coming in. Thomas George still stays out, maybe praying for a caution. I just don't know that there's enough cars left on the racetrack to really have that be an issue.
Going to be a little bit close here for a lot of these guys.
Scott Eckridge will cycle out to be your leader here in a couple minutes, but Nick Cohan been running him down now, only 3/10 quicker that time. I think that 32.7 he ran the lap prior was made a mistake. So, ooh, the brakes are really glowing on that 21 car here.
And he knows that he can chase down Eckridge with some fresher tires. And also needs to make sure he stays ahead of the guy that just came out of turn 4 right behind, Greg Evans in the 2. He's trying to chase both of these guys down. Those brakes are molten hot.
Yeah, they are very, very hot indeed. You got to leave yourself a little bit of equipment left. So last time by, Evans was only a 10th quicker, so this might actually work out in Cohan's favor because we know how hard it is to pass. And by the time Evans gets back to Cohan, he's not going to have much better tires than Cohan does. No. So, I mean, it's going to be a toss-up here to see who gets this. Brad Collins entering pit lane, got some right front damage. I think that came from earlier.
Yeah, that was from that wreck involving these guys earlier. Still out on the track, though, notably is the 76 of Rick Thompson and the 9 of Thomas George. So George is definitely going for the overcut at this point.
Ooh, so last time by, Evans ran a really good lap time. It was about 3/10 quicker than Cohan. But again, he's got almost 2 seconds to make up.
He's got a decent gap, so I mean he'll catch him. But again, it's more of a question of how much better tires will he have compared to these guys up ahead.
Thomas George still out on the racetrack here, Finney. I think he's kind of made his bed and has to lay in it in terms of waiting for a yellow.
Yeah, I think he's going to try to do the either stay out or just do the overcut and get around these guys.
Well, under 40 laps to go now. Not a ton of time to do an overcut, but it's certainly possible, I guess. You see the 70 and the 21 closing in on each other. Now this will be your battle for the eventual lead. Evans has chopped down that gap between him and Cohan to 1.1 seconds. Cohan trying to be really smooth. You see Eckridge almost get up into the wall. See what Eckridge's brakes are doing as we get off into the corner here. It's interesting to see the difference between those two drivers.
Night and day between both their strategies, and I'd say that Cohan is driving a lot more aggressively, and there you see Evans getting ever so close to these guys. And notably, Thomas George has just come down to his pit stop.
Thomas George coming in for his stop, as you mentioned, Finney, and the leaders closing in on each other. Eckridge, Cohan, and Evans, they're all catching each other at about the same rate. Ooh, Eckridge loose off at turn 4. It's going to bring Cohan closer. How long do they fight? It's going to be important, because if they want to keep that 2 car behind him, they got to get this done quick.
Yeah, Cohen's definitely got to get past Eckridge as fast as possible. Eckridge has got to do everything in his power to keep both these cars at bay.
Ooh, Eckridge pulls over, interestingly, and lets them both by. He's going to let the guys fight it out between them.
Interesting.
I'm a little bit surprised by that move there, Finney. I'm not going to lie. But Cohan and Evans now going to be fighting for this race win. Rick Thompson, the only driver to hold out. He is down on pit lane now. So the fight is between the 21 and the 2, just like it was about 50 laps ago. Cohan way up the racetrack trying to make speed.
He's trying to go up high and then exit a little bit lower, but I think lost some time there.
3/10 separate him and Evans. He actually gained some time on the straightaway, so the question is if he's going to lose more in the corners. He's just got to really take care of his equipment. The best thing that could happen for the 21 is a caution at this point. Yeah. Get themselves both on equal sets of tires, because he's at a disadvantage to Greg Evans at the moment.
That also help out Eckridge behind, so everyone pretty much but the 2 of Evans probably would want a caution right now.
Yeah, Greg is in the best position out of any of these top 4 or 5, and now battle for the lead is on. Here comes the 2 car right on the rear bumper of the 21. Fight for the lead with just over 30 laps to go.
You see Evans now going to the outside. Cohen forcing Evans' hand.
Here he comes to the outside.
Not enough from Greg Evans. He's going to do the over-under here on the front straightaway. They're going to be side by side heading to 1.
He's going to have to back out of it here. That inside lane is not a great line into turn 1. It's going to make Cohan drive really hard. He's loose into the corner. Up the racetrack he goes. The 2-car closes on corner exit.
Yeah, and Cohen's going to try to do, you're going to see him do everything he can to keep his car as wide as possible. He knows that if Evans gets around him now, he's not chasing him back down.
Evans going to look to the outside. Gets a little bit tight through the center of 3 and 4. If Evans gets his tires burned out here, his advantage might be over. So Cohan's got to keep that 2 behind him at no cost. Through 1 and 2 once again. It's so important. The 2-car tries to pull underneath him on exit. He slips. Goes the 21. The 56 in Norman Pelletier is a lap car in front. Does the 2-car stick it in the inside in turn 3? Or does the 21 defend?
Pelletier doing a nice job letting these leaders by, letting them fight it out, and Cohen again doing a great job.
Yeah, Cohen slipped in 3 and 4 though, Finian.
Yeah, but he's doing a great job just being in the 2's line, knowing where the 2 Evans is faster and just holding him up there, knowing that Evans can't do anything to get around.
How hard is he working that race car? The brakes are hot here, Finian. To the bumper goes the 2-car. Oh, he slips into the wall in the back straightaway. The 21 hard in the concrete.
Wow. Actually, let's see if we can take a replay of that real quick. It's kind of hard to tell. Did he actually hit him?
No, I don't think there was contact. He's got loose on corner exit. Here's a view of it. Actually, let's ride on board with the 2-car.
Oh, yeah, no, just loose. Wow.
Disaster for the 21. Will this be another one that got away for him?
I think so.
30 laps to go here at Gateway. Greg Evans has taken the lead away from Nick Cohan, who's got right front damage now. Roberts and Perry fighting for 5th.
I would say fighting, but not so much of a fight between these 2 Perry's. Is going to sail around him.
Evans has shot out to a 1-second lead in just over a lap. And I think that's pretty much game over for the 21 unless we get a caution, which is probably unlikely considering we only have 12 cars on the racetrack.
Yeah, and everyone is very spread out.
So unless he gets his ducks in a row and calms that car down, cools those tires off, I just don't think 5-lap older tires is not going to do it here.
No, I don't think so. The only silver lining, I guess you can call it, is that he's currently lapping faster than Scott Eckridge behind him, so he'll at least get second, but I think he's probably tired and sick of finishing second at this point.
Well, hold on a second here, Finian. Last time by, Evans was a 10th slower.
That's definitely wrong. Yeah, he ran identical times, almost identical. A little bit faster in Cohen's hand.
A 32.80 to a 32.87. 8.88, really. That's 0.08 of a second quicker. It's almost a 10th. I mean, if he does that every lap, he'll catch back up to him. You just got to be real steady here. I mean, the tire difference is going to hurt, but if he's just all out faster, like he was at the beginning of the race, he might have a chance to chase him back down. But it looks like it's starting to slip away. I don't think he's going to be able to run that every lap.
Yeah, and there you see there, it shifts back in Evans' favor there. Now 0.2 of a gap between Cohen and Evans' lap times. A little bit less than that.
A caution would save the 21. He's been looking for a win all season in the Cup Series. He's come so close so many times, and this might have just slipped away from him in the closing stages of Gateway. Greg Evans has won 7 races so far this season. He's been unstoppable. Can he make his winning ratio 50%? That's what it would be if he won here tonight.
Well, all the stars are lining in his favor. Unfortunately, the sim doesn't have stars yet. That's hopefully at some point. Don't have a moon yet as well. That's definitely coming out at some point.
See the city of St. Louis off in the distance. We continue to run here now. Coming back to 25 laps to go. Evans now out to a 1.4 second lead.
And yeah, notably we have 12 cars running on the racetrack, and only 8 of them are on the lead lap.
And the only close battle right now is between Eckridge and McBride. McBride's actually been slowly running the 70 car down. This is our only opportunity for a yellow unless we have a single car incident, so I think Cohan's going to watch that lead slip further and farther away out his windshield. 5 car in the fence again off the
I think McBride's really starting to push the issue here, trying to catch up to Scott Eckridge. Oh, and a little bit loose there in entry.
Yeah, he's working on 26-lap old tires. McBride behind him has got 5-lap fresher Goodyears on that car. Still, I'm amazed at how cool his brakes are. I mean, McBride's cool too, but we head back up to Kohan. Let's watch him as he heads off into the corner. I know this is the wider end of the racetrack, so you don't use quite as much brake, but you see how much hotter they get.
Yeah, especially in comparison to these other guys who pretty much had no brake input almost.
Yeah.
Or very little of anything. You see coming loose off.
Yeah, he's just trying to get so much out of the car that it just doesn't have left to offer. The 5 car has gotten around Scott Eckrich, so Scott really struggling with that car now. Around a 33.9. Yeah. That's a second off the pace.
Yeah. Right side for Scott Eckrich, though. The next car behind him is Gabriel Perry, who's 9 seconds back.
Well, the other bright side is that he's not in a points battle. Doesn't have to worry about, not having as good of a finish as he wanted. He just came in here with 1 intent, and that was to win. And it looks like that's going to be a little bit short here tonight as we close in on 20 laps to go. Through turns 1 and 2. There's your leader, Greg Evans. There's second place, Nick Cohan. A couple seconds back, there's the third place car, McBride, and fourth place, number 70 of Scott Eckrich. There's your top 4. This season has been an absolutely phenomenal season for Greg Evans. He's won 7 races, has 11 top 10s, I believe also 10 top 5s. 11 top 5s in 15 races.
Yep.
I mean, that is an absolutely astonishing number, and it's not only on the speedways, it's on the short tracks, it's on the road courses. This guy has been unstoppable so far this year, and he just doesn't make mistakes. I mean, that's something that we saw Cohan and Eckrich. They both were quicker than the 2 car in the early stages of this race, but they both made mistakes. Greg Evans has not done that this year, at least not in a major way.
Yeah, let me read off his finishes for the last 8 races. So Michigan finished second, then first, second, 24th, which was at Talladega, and then last week won at Atlanta. So he's finished in the top 2 in 7 of the last 8 races. That's absolute domination right there.
Absolutely, and he's made it look easy, and I cannot recall him laying a bumper on anyone sans Talladega when the 98 of Jackson Robillard contributed to the incident that he was taken out in a few weeks ago. But this guy is just so rock solid, and Nick Cohan. I've been rooting for this guy ever since we saw him nearly win the race at Charlotte in week number 6. That was a long time ago, Finian. Crashed with the 9 of Thomas George with 11 laps to go at Charlotte, and ever since then has come so close to winning so many races, and could be leading these standings right now if he just turned those days that he almost won into days that he did win. And it looks like today might be just a little bit short. Ooh, battle for 6th going on here. Thomas George and Will Roberts side by side on the back straight. Will Roberts will concede.
Yeah, Thomas, again, with significantly fresher tires than a lot of his other competitors. Trying to cut his way through the field. And has a good shot at catching Gabriel Perry about 5 seconds up the road. 4 seconds up the road.
The rate that he is lapping, it's possible. Battle for second, starting to heat up here a little bit. Finney and Rhett McBride. McBride and Cohan are on actually pretty even tires, but the 5 car just lapping quicker at the moment and chasing down Cohan. And I know Nick wants to hang on to that second as bad as he can. With 17 laps to go, it might just be enough to hold off that 5 car, but it went from being the leader to being 3rd place if he gets passed by that 5, so he wants to prevent that from happening. We take a look at Nick Cohan's year. He's got 9 top 10s and 6 top 5s. It's been a good year.
Yeah, just unfortunately look at the win columns and none for the 21.
Yeah, it's not been in his favor in that regard. Especially when Rhett McBride has done 10 top 5s and 10 top 10s. Only won 1 race, and that's something notable too. Rhett McBride has the ability to win as many races as Greg Evans has, but the problem is Greg Evans is in the way, and you can only have so many.
The
21 out of control and saves it on the back straight. That was a scary moment.
Yeah, and the second time he's done that tonight off the same corner, that was a little bit of a heart attack for him.
Watch the loose moment the 21 car just had here off of turn 2. Very similar to what happened when he was racing the 2 car. Ooh, already loose and just gets on the power too quick, and wow, drifts it. Saves, but
yeah, great save.
Falls to 3rd here. going from bad to worse for the 21. And again, this will be just another top 5 added to the column, and on paper it looks good, but when you dominate the early stages of the race, it's got to hurt a little bit. Greg Evans has stretched this out to 3.1 seconds. Continues to drive away now, 14 laps to go.
Yeah, everyone really spread out on the track at the moment. The closest battles between Cohen and Eckrich, separated by about a little bit over a second.
Ninth place is also not too far separated. There's Brad Collins and Norman Pelletier that are fighting for a spot. Pelletier and Collins both have pretty dinged up race cars, both involved in, I believe, the same incident about 70 or 80 laps ago on the back straightaway.
Oh, and actually something happened to Thomas George. He got put behind Will Roberts. Was ahead at one point.
Yeah, so something has happened. He got a little bit of right front damage on that car that he didn't have before.
Probably it.
And here's what's got to hurt for McBride now, is that he's lapping just a tad quicker than Greg Evans now, just not close enough to do it, to get up there and fight that 2 car. So if he had a caution, and if the caution comes out, this totally changes the figure of this race here. But whoa, the 96 loose in turn 1. Does he hang on to it? Oh, we almost had a yellow right there. That would have been race over for Evans, because everyone would have played the strategy on him.
That almost would have been QX Files music right there. Right as he said that. So Will Roberts is going to save that.
About as close as you can get to having a caution without actually having one. Roberts is fighting with Thomas George. And Rick Thompson, who's just behind this battle. Pelletier up out of the groove in turn 4, gets into the wall. This is the closest group of cars on the racetrack, so we'll keep an eye on this for now.
Pelletier and Collins in their own battle, as well, and actually don't throw in Johnny Martin's another lap down from these guys, but also the 9 and the 96 fighting on the lead lap for 6th and 7th. There you see Will Roberts using up a lot of brakes, entering 3.
Yeah, we saw early in the race, not a lot of drivers were using that much brake entering turn 3, but as the race has gone on and the handling has gone away, it's getting harder and harder to slow these cars down. And add into the brake fade from the excessive temperatures, and you're going to be stepping on the pedal a lot more. Rick Thompson trying to get up to catch that number 96 car who's just up the road. That would be for position. '76 to the inside of Johnny Martin. Johnny Martin will let him go. He's 2 laps down. Rick Thompson is the last car on the lead lap. 10 laps to go here at Gateway. If the caution were to come out, I could see it originating from this area right here. Judging how hard these guys were driving earlier. 76 up the racetrack.
Yeah, all these guys are starting to run that high line. That's really just showing their lack of grip. And them trying to struggle with it. I'm sure a lot of these guys want this race to be over with soon, just so they can get out of the cars, because I can imagine that they're really struggling for grip and struggling to get this car to rotate, and it's not too much banking to work with.
Whoa, 70 car, huge impact in the turn 1 wall. That is going to destroy the right front suspension in that car. Wow. He piled, almost looked like he lost his brakes there for a minute. Here's a look from on board.
Did he miss the shift?
No, just got in there too hot. Never got it woed down.
Yeah,
ooh. That was a pretty exciting entrance to turn 1. Not how I'd usually recommend doing it. He just never got it slowed down and smashes that wall.
Notably, with that damage, he's actually still keeping up with Cohen.
Steering's a little crooked, but seems like it's working okay. Car's still turning. That's what the wheel's there for, isn't it? That's why they put fenders on these cars. Rick Thompson and Johnny Martin still nose to tail. Thompson has got some more right front damage than he had a couple laps ago. 7 laps to go. In a couple laps, once the caution comes out, it'll be race over if it happens.
Yeah, starting to approach the point where we got a caution.
Oh, and right here, the 76 hangs on. We've almost had about 3 yellows the past couple laps.
And 2 of those we almost called live.
Yeah. We're putting the cameras in the right places, that's for sure.
Yeah, so we're approaching the, as I was saying before that happened, we're approaching the point where if a caution were to come out, we'll get either a small restart or no restart at all.
I think probably 5 to 4 to go is
Yeah.
usually the transition when that happens. See, Eckert, she's trying to reel in that 21 car for a podium here, but that might be where our caution originates from if he drives in as hard as he did in turn 1 a couple laps ago. He actually scraped the wall on the back straight. Coming to 5 laps to go, Greg Evans crosses the line. And again, if he completes this, it'll be his 8th victory in 16 races, an unprecedented 50% win ratio in the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series opening season. Brett McBride, 3.8 seconds behind. Nick Cohan trying to hang on to that 3rd spot with Scott Eckrich behind. Coming back to 4 to go. If the caution comes out, the race will be over. 4 laps to go here at Gateway. Greg Evans still has the lead by 4 seconds over Rhett McBride. Through turns 1 and 2.
And notably, also just ran some quick math. If Evans were to, well, this is before this, including this race, this would be actually even higher. If this race is counted, Evans would have led 34% of the season's laps.
That is an unbelievable statistic.
So, basically 1 out of every 3 laps that occurred this season, Greg Evans has led one of them.
That is an unbelievable statistic. I mean, in some races, he's not been the dominant car.
No.
I'd love to see... How many laps has the 21 car led here, Finia? Not a lot, or is it more than I think?
229 to Evans' 600 something.
That's still a pretty good amount of laps led for a car that has not won a single race this season.
Yeah, it just kind of shows you the frustration that the 21 of Cohen is facing, not getting that win, knowing that he's had the speed, been up towards the front several times.
Well, the point of today's race, Finian, was not for the 21 to win a race, although I'm sure that's what was going on in the 21 team's camp. The point of today was to eliminate 1 driver from the 5 that remained in the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series finals. And today, that driver will be Travis McQuistion. His championship hopes end today. Next week, we go to Las Vegas Motor Speedway to conclude the season. It's come down to the 16th race, and race 17 is our final one. But of the 16 races so far, Greg Evans has had a remarkable season, winning 7 races, finishing in the top 5 11 times, finishing in the top 10 11 times. It's been a remarkable season for Greg Evans in that 2 Chevrolet Camaro team. He's got half a lap to make that win ratio 50% in the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series inaugural season. He's the obvious championship favorite heading into the 1.5 mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week. Can he hang on and win the final 2 rounds of the season? Greg Evans, through turns 3 and 4, will round the final corner and take home another checkered flag. Greg Evans has won 50% of the races this season. Greg Evans, an 8-time winner in the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series.
And there you see behind, Rhett McBride's going to come home in second, actually closing the gap quite a bit, 4.2 seconds. There you see Nick Cohen's going to get a podium. Scott Eckrich behind is going to spin into 1 with a 4th place finish. Gabriel Perry's going to come across the line in 5th. Thomas George is still in turn 4, coming out of turn 4 now. He's going to come across the line in 6th. Will Roberts in 7th. And Rick Thompson back there, you see, coming across the line in 8th. That'll round out the guys on the lead lap.
What a race that was. The early and middle stages were incredibly riveting. And then the penalties for the 21 and for the 70. And you got to think, Finian, that is what has hurt the 21 today. It was the penalties that got him behind on the strategy. And unfortunately, Nick Cohan will have to go home without a trophy for another week. Greg Evans, he's gotten real good at this burnout thing with that duct tape number 2 Camaro. The funny thing is he hasn't needed to use a single piece of duct tape all year.
Yeah, he's had a very clean car.
Yeah, save for Talladega. A winner again here in the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series. Greg Evans will collect another championship trophy. I think for next week we should just give him a shelf as a trophy so he can put all those other ones on it.
Probably.
The shadows are real long here at Gateway Motorsports Park. From high above Gateway, the sun has set on another day of racing. We'll be back in a moment to talk with your winner, Greg Evans, and others in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back live here to SimTV, here with race winner Greg Evans. And Greg, I know we've said that a lot this year. 8 times. You've won 50% of the races here this season. It's something I've never seen before in iRacing, period. It's just domination on just an ungodly scale. You came into tonight with chasing Kohan for the majority of the first part of the race, and a couple penalties for the 21 and the 70 put you out up front, and you never looked back. Walk us through those last couple laps there.
We were just kind of riding. I know at the first of the race, Nick was shifting out of third gear most of the corners, and I was just really trying to save my stuff and wasn't shifting unless I really had to. But yeah, I seen Nick and I believe Scott got penalties, and it put us out front. And once we were out there, the car was just handled really good and able to drive away and pick up the win.
Well, walk us through what makes you so good, because yeah, not only have you won on speedways, you've won at several different kinds of racetracks, and we were looking at your last 7 finishes, and the only one that was not in the top 2 was Talladega, and that's an obvious one there. But how does your driving style carry over from each track? Is it slow in, fast out sort of thing? I mean, I want to know your secrets now. It's like you only got 1 race left, so I feel like you're safe to share it.
For me, it's just saving the tires. I really focus on getting easy in. And try to be more aggressive coming off, saving the right front most of the run, and then trying to use it up at the end of the run. Yeah, we've had a really good year. We've had a lot of luck on our side. Talladega wasn't a good race for us. We were running up front and got taken out, but just we've had a really good year. Had a lot of luck. Hopefully, it'll carry over to Las Vegas and pick up the championship.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week, Greg. Good luck next week at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We'll see you later.
Thank you, guys, and thank you guys for broadcasting all the races, and thanks for Duct Tape, Sure Tape, and I Can't Design. They've made this year possible, and I thank those guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Greg, we'll see you later. Next, we're going to talk to second place finisher Rhett McBride, the driver of the number 5 car. Rhett came up just a little bit short again tonight. You got 1 win to your name this year, but obviously I think it should be a couple more with how well you've been running. Talk us through that last chase to try to get Greg Evans in the final closing stages of this one.
Well, he had it. He had it. It was his race to lose. So I was just trying to get Scott and Nick there. I figured by the time I got around those guys, it was going to be kind of hard to get to Greg, because he had, he's just been doing such a phenomenal job all season. We were just talking about that in the waiting room, just how smart he's been all year, and just how quick he's been driving. So he's tough to beat right now. But we'll go to Vegas next week, and we'll try really hard to do it.
Well, let's talk about Vegas a little bit. Next week, you have to go out and beat that 2 car if you want to win the championship. Late race restart. What lane you picking, and how are you going to beat that number 5 or number 2? Excuse me.
Probably put my front bumper underneath his rear bumper and send him into the parking lot. It's about the only way I'm gonna do it. But, no, I wouldn't do that. But yeah, we're just gonna have to figure something out, get up on the wheel, because he's been doing it all season, and we've been just missing a couple of things here and there. I think last week I kind of gave one away at Atlanta. I kind of made a mistake, and he was able to get by me there. But he's just been tough, and it's fun to have him as a teammate because it makes you quicker. But we got to figure something out between now and next week if we're going to go and give him a run for it.
All right, Rhett. Well, good luck next week. We'll talk to you pre-race next week, and we'll see you later. Have a good night.
Thanks, Kyle.
Next, we're going to talk to third place driver Nick Cohan, driver of the number 21. And Nick, oh man, I think this is probably race number 567 that you had a dominant car in. And obviously things didn't go your way and came up P3 tonight. Talk us through what happened there on that pit stop sequence and losing by just 2 spots once again.
It's a tough one to swallow. That was a really fast rolling rock Toyota Camry we had tonight. First in practice, first in qual. Set on the pole. Felt really smooth in the first beginning part of the race there. We had those cautions just kept taking me out of rhythm, and then I missed the pit entrance because I was watching your broadcast trying to see what the caution was. So then I got the penalty and put me in the back, and of course never got another caution again. So just basically playing catch up. Greg is extremely fast and he just doesn't make any mistakes. We were just talking about that down there. He just has not made one mistake all season. He's just been on fire, and you can't make any mistakes if you want to beat him. So I didn't make any mistakes up until that pit road incident. So then just playing catch up on strategy. I tried to pit early, and then he ran me down, and I drove my ass off trying to stay in front of him. I was sliding all over the place. I knew I had nothing for him, but I wasn't going to give up easy, even though the big picture was trying to make the final 3 for next week, which we did. So I'm happy. I just wish we could have got a win tonight, but we'll take it.
Well, speaking of Las Vegas next week, you're one of those Championship 3 drivers, and we're coming to a restart at the end of Las Vegas, and you're behind Greg Evans. What do you need to get that first win and the championship and beat Greg Evans?
Beat him to the finish line. That's pretty much it. I don't know what it's going to take. It's going to be an interesting last race. Like I said, Greg has been on fire all season, but it's just like NASCAR. Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, and Kyle Busch were fast all year, but Logano had it right there at the end. So you never know what could happen. I'm just going to try and make sure we're in position to make a run for it at the end. I don't know if it's. I got a feeling we're gonna have some long green flag runs. We had an exhibition race there earlier this year, and we won that race off of course, the non-points race, the one that doesn't count. I win, but that was off some fuel strategy. So we'll see. We just got to be right there to try and make a move to win it. Can't make mistakes like tonight.
All right, Nick. Well, better luck next week. Go out there, win it, and go win the championship.
Thanks, guys. Just shout out to Rolling Rock for being on the car, CJ Automotive, and all my teammates at Dizzy Motorsports and PMS for helping out this year to get us here in the final 3.
All right. Well, have a good night, Nick, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Vinny.
All right. So the last driver we're going to talk to tonight is the driver of the number 70, Scott Eckrich. And Scott, you've been a partial entry this year. You've only run a couple races, but the ones you have run, you've been extremely competitive. And obviously had a car that was quick enough to win, but came home 4th tonight. A couple dramatic wall impacts certainly didn't help your car too much, but walk us through the first part of your race, and then the penalty, and then the last part.
Yeah, I mean, we had a little trouble getting through tech this weekend. We showed up a little late, so we showed up to the server with about 30 seconds to go, and our on-track performance kind of reflected that. Made a call on the brake bias, just kind of guessing, and we were a little bit off, so we were it was a little rear happy on entry there, and as you saw, we decided to clip the wall. That's generous. We slammed into the wall about 3-4 times there, and it gave us about a minute or so to damage. So, we were just kind of trying to hang on at that point, let all the chase guys by, because we didn't have the speed to compete with them. But that and the penalty, we weren't doing ourselves any favor. But we were pretty happy with how the season's gone so far with our minimum starts here, and I feel like really excited for the 2019 season to start up.
All right, and hopefully we'll see you running as well as you have this season next year as well. Thanks for talking to us, Scott, and have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
All right, Finian, wow. The first half of that race was pretty wild.
Yeah, definitely. And we got to make a small correction to what we said earlier.
It's a big correction.
It could be worse.
Yeah.
Could be worse. So, yeah, there is not a Final 4. It's traditionally...
Final 3.
Yeah, it's Final 3.
Yeah.
We got confused because almost everyone else runs a Final 4 configuration. So
did they eliminate 2 drivers this week? Or
yes.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, yeah, that's
stupid. That's a dumb.
I don't know. Tell Will that in person, but
I will.
Yeah. So not only will McQuistion be eliminated, but also Perry as well. So we are going to be the top 3. Oddly enough, are the guys top 3 that finish tonight are going to be the 3 guys heading into Vegas for the finale. It's going to be Greg Evans, Rhett McBride, and Nick Cohen. They're going to be fighting for the championship next week. And
they've been the quickest cars all season, so it makes sense that they're the final 3 drivers next week. It's a winner take all. It's going to be real hard to beat that 2-car, Finian. Well, what's coming up on our schedule tomorrow night? We go endurance racing, 2.4 hours of Daytona with the virtual Mars SCCA guys. I'll be running in that race as well as broadcasting it. So that'll be tomorrow, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that'll be a fun one. We're going to have Eric Mickey from these Scars guys. He'll be up in the booth with us. And then Thursday night, we're back to Fuel IndyCar action, I believe. And that is going to be from Barber Motorsports Park. So that's going to be some more road course racing. Then Friday, we're at Watkins Glen International with the Hardline Cup Series guys. Saturday, Talladega with the Virtual Racing League. That's what's coming up. And then Sunday, we got the Scars Winter Series. That'll be a Class B car at Richmond. You'll see the links for that pop up the next couple days. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night with Virtual Mars for the Daytona 2.4. We'll see you later. Have a good night.